Okay, we're going to go through how to create a sales receipt. So a sales receipt, if you do not see it on your home screen, again, edit preferences, go to desktop view, and you can enable sales receipts there. Sales receipts are really cash type of transactions. So if you do not need to hit your accounts receivable account, okay? So where we use sales receipts a lot, we use it a lot if our customers have point of sale systems, right? External systems that track the sales. And then we just record our daily sales on a sales receipt. And we do have another video on that. We also use sales receipts quite frequently for our customers who have kind of supply shops, right? So people are coming in and out and purchasing product. A lot of times the supply shops fill for contractors, right? So they're kind of wholesalers for contractors the majority of the time, but occasionally they get the end user in who comes in off the street and, needs to purchase something. So they'll use a sales receipt for that because it doesn't have to hit accounts receivable, right? This is somebody who doesn't have an account with us and they just are paying cash at the time of sale. So when we come in here to create a sales receipt, now in Enterprise, of course, you can barcode scan, right? You can scan things, and on a sales receipt, this is one of the transactions that you can scan items in, and it'll fill it in your sales receipt for you. So again, in that supplier instance, they can just scan in whatever the end user is purchasing, and it fills in the sales receipt for them, similar to a point of sale system. Where it's different is that it doesn't have a cash drawer that pops out, 40-column receipt printer, etc. Another thing that's different about a sales receipt is that you do not have to have a customer and job. You can leave that field blank. So whereas on an invoice, you have to tell it which customer is purchasing, on a sales receipt, you can leave that field blank. So again, if it's just some Joe coming in off the street, you don't know their name necessarily, and you may not capture it. So you can leave it blank. Now, of course, the more data you capture, the better usage you can have. So, capturing email addresses and things like that. So you can email customers. It's helpful. But okay, so I have my customer job here. I can associate it with a customer job if I want to. We can have a class. We can have multiple templates just like we can on the invoices, etc. And if we wanted our sales receipt to look just like our invoices, right, we can go into our templates, find our invoice template that we like, and we can duplicate it. And when we duplicate it, we can make it a sales receipt, right? So you can make it look very similar. Up top, we also have all of the same features, right? Create copy, memorize, print, email, attach documents. So most of the same information here that we have on invoices. The difference between a sales receipt and an invoice, of course, is this section, right? So how are they paying? Because they're not paying on account. We're not hitting accounts receivable. So when I fill in a sales receipt, I can choose some items, sell a couple items here. All right. And then we are taking payment at the time of sale. So it's $67 if they paid us in cash. I can click cash and I say save and close. And what's going to happen, or I'll say save and new for now, what's going to happen is now in my record deposits area, I have that $67 in cash that I now need to deposit. Okay. Now on a sales receipt right now, I have it set up to default go to the undeposited funds account, but you can change that if you want to. So if I go to preferences and I go to payments and company preferences, I can uncheck use undeposited funds as default deposit to account. And then what happens when I go open my sales receipts is I have all the same features here, but now I can choose which account to deposit to. So maybe you're not depositing to undeposited funds, maybe you're depositing to a petty cash account, or maybe to a cash and drawer account as an example. Okay. But the difference is, of course, that when we're doing this transaction on a sales receipt, we're not hitting accounts receivable like you would on an invoice. You're taking payment at the time of sale. So another example of a customer of mine that uses sales receipts is a nonprofit. So they have membership dues and they receive membership dues in all the time, right? Every day they receive in different membership dues. And they put all the membership dues through a separate system where they track all their members, a members management system. And then on a daily basis, we come in and post sales receipts for them. Okay. We don't post it as an invoice because that customer never owed us the money. We're just recording it when the customer paid us. So instead of having to have two transactions in QuickBooks where I have an invoice, right? Hey, Mr. Member owes us their annual dues, and then receipt of payment on the same day for those annual dues, I can replace those two transactions with one transaction here on a sales receipt. It's recording what they purchased and the cash on the same transaction. So that is how to create a sales receipt in QuickBooks.